jewelry of the richest family of the Russian Empire. The Pelgrina Pearl is an oval, rare pearl that was one of the main heirlooms of the Yusupov family. Prince Nikolai Yusupov acquired it in 1826, and since then it has been inherited. Zinaida Nikolaevna Yusupova, Felix's mother and one of the most influential women in St. Petersburg, often wore a pendant with this pearl. Felix was able to take the Pellegrin out of Russia and kept it in his family until 1953, when he sold it to Jean Lombard, a Geneva jeweler. In 1989, the pearl was bought by an anonymous collector at Christie's auction for $463.8 thousand. Pellegrina has a rich history and is a prime example of how family heirlooms can be passed down from generation to generation, preserving their value and significance. This pearl recalls the rich history and traditions of the Yusupov family, as well as how valuables can change their owners and their location over time. Tiara sun rays. In Moscow in 1925, the Bolsheviks discovered a treasure trove during the renovation of Felix's house. 7 treasure chests were found under the stairs. Among them were more than a ton of silver and 13 kilograms of gold, as well as a lot of jewelry, 255 brooches, 42 bracelets, 12 tiaras, cups, and ladles. One of the valuable finds was probably the tiara sun rays from the jewelry house Chaumet. She was a wedding present for Irina. Initially, the polar star diamond was in the center of the composition, but later it was replaced by a sapphire. The sunrays tiara is made of platinum and diamonds. Such exquisite jewelry was a symbol of wealth and aristocracy. After the discovery of the treasure, some of the jewels were shown at the exhibition, but most were sold abroad. Valuables from the Romanov and Yusupov collections have become the subject of expert study. They analyzed the origin and history of each product. The secret treasure under the stairs has become a testament to the rich history and culture of the past. Marie Antoinette's earrings. The Yusupov collection contains several personal items of Marie Antoinette. These jewels were bought at foreign auctions. Among them are earrings with huge diamonds, 14 and 20 carats. Tatiana Yusupova, Zinaida's great-grandmother, bought them in Paris in the 19th century. The earrings were part of a family heirloom and were passed down from generation to generation. In 1928, Felix sold the earrings to the Cartier house. Then, Cartier sold them to American Marjorie Post. Marjorie Post has amassed a huge collection of Russian art. Today, Marie Antoinette's earrings are kept in the Museum of Natural History at the Smithsonian Institution in Washington. These jewels are part of the museum's extensive collection, which attracts many visitors from all over the world. The Smithsonian Institution's Museum of Natural History is proud of its collection, which includes not only scientific exhibits, but also art objects. Marie Antoinette's earrings are a prime example of how historical jewelry can become part of a cultural heritage and be accessible to the general public for study and admiration. Crystal Tiara. In 1914, Felix Yusupov married the niece of Emperor Nicholas II, Princess Irina. On this significant day, a unique platinum tiara decorated with diamonds and crystal was placed on her head. The creators of this masterpiece of jewelry art were the masters of Cartier. The luxurious decoration has become an integral part of Irina's wedding look. The tiara undoubtedly attracted the attention of all those present at the ceremony and emphasized the high status of the young princess. The fate of the tiara after the 1917 revolution is shrouded in mystery. The Bolsheviks discovered her in the Yusupov's Moscow house. Her further whereabouts remain a mystery. Whether she disappeared in a whirlwind of historical events or was hidden by one of the family members is no longer known. The history of the tiara is not only the history of luxury jewelry, but also part of the history of an entire era. It symbolizes the splendor and grandeur of aristocratic life at the beginning of the 20th century, recalling the times when tradition and wealth went hand in hand. The Polar Star diamond is one of the most famous diamonds in the world. Its weight is over 40 carats. This gemstone once belonged to Tatiana Yusupova, who wore it in a tiara along with Marie Antoinette's earrings. In exile, Felix Yusupov repeatedly pawned the Polar Star diamond at Cartier. In 1928, he broke up with him completely. The Polar Star appeared at auctions only in 1980. Then the diamond was sold for $5.1 million. This fact proves that the Polar Star is a rare and valuable gemstone in the world. The story of the Polar Star attracts the attention of jewelry lovers and connoisseurs of history. It reminds us of how jewels can change hands, changing their owners and destinies. The Polar Star diamond is a prime example of how historical jewels can retain their value and appeal over the years. Ruby Tiara. A history of elegance. Irina Alexandrovna, known for her exquisite outfits, appeared in front of the camera in 1924 in a dress from her fashion house and in a luxurious tiara with rubies. This image became the epitome of elegance and sophistication of that time. In exile, Irina and Felix, her companion, founded their own fashion house called IRFA. Their brand quickly gained popularity due to innovative ideas and high-quality clothing. Several photographs have been preserved in which Irina is depicted in dresses of her own work. The ruby tiara that adorned Irina's head in one of the photographs has become a real piece of jewelry. Unfortunately, the fate of this jewel is unknown. It may have been lost or sold over time. However, the image of Irina in a ruby tiara remained in the history of fashion as a symbol of beauty and sophistication. Her work at the fashion house IRFE has become part of the cultural heritage, reflecting the spirit of the era. Irina Alexandrovna and Felix created not only a fashion house, but also an entire epoch in the history of fashion. Their work continues to inspire designers and fashion lovers around the world. The ruby tiara is just one of the elements that highlights the grandeur and elegance of their heritage. Corsage jewelry and emerald earrings. Irina Yusupova, known for her sophistication and love of jewelry, wore jewelry from the famous jewelry house Chaumet. Corsage jewelry was especially popular among her jewelry. Their special feature was that they could be used as necklaces or as brooches. Irina received these jewelry for her wedding from Felix and his mother Zinaida. Corsage jewelry of that time was distinguished by its special elegance and versatility. They became part of a rich jewelry collection, which was later hidden and forgotten. Unfortunately, corsage jewelry and other jewelry from the cache were dismantled and melted down. This was a tragedy for the history of jewelry and for antique lovers. Emerald earrings were also part of Irina's collection. Emeralds are precious stones that have long been valued for their beauty and rarity. They gave the jewelry a special sophistication and brilliance. Emerald earrings were not only an ornament, but also a symbol of status and wealth. Items such as corsage jewelry and emerald earrings are part of the history of jewelry art. They remind us how important it is to preserve and respect cultural heritage. These ornaments could still delight today with their brilliance and grace, but their fate turned out to be tragic. Nevertheless, the story of them continues to live on and serve as a reminder of the beauty and value of jewelry from the past. Irina Yusupova's Emerald Parure, the story of the jewel. After the wedding, Irina Romanova received an exquisite parure with emeralds as a gift from her mother-in-law, Zinaida Nikolaevna. It is not known whether Princess Irina managed to wear this jewelry at any ball, but most likely, due to the outbreak of the First World War and subsequent events related to the revolution in Russia, she did not have the opportunity to shine in it. The young couple went on a honeymoon to Europe, but soon the war broke out, and the Yusupovs returned to Russia. At that time, there was no time for balls and social events in St. Petersburg. A treasure trove. In 1917, a revolution took place in Russia. Felix Yusupov, trying to save his treasures, moved them from St. Petersburg to one of his Moscow palaces. Here he made a hiding place where he hid the jewelry. Felix and Irina left for Crimea, where the other Romanovs were then. It is known that Felix was returning to St. Petersburg to collect some of his treasures. Apparently, he understood that the white movement in Russia was losing. The journey from Crimea to Petrograd was extremely dangerous, so Felix managed to take only a small fraction of the family jewels with him from the Moscow palace. Subsequently, these treasures allowed Felix and Irina to live comfortably in exile. They even opened their own fashion house. The rest of the jewelry left in Russia was eventually lost to the Yusupov family. In the 1920s, an attentive caretaker at the Yusupov mansion in Moscow noticed that one of the arches in the palace had been laid with new bricks. The partition was dismantled and a secret treasure room was found behind it. Among these ornaments was Irina Yusupova's magnificent emerald parure. Subsequently, this jewelry, like other treasures from the cache, was dismantled and sold abroad. The history of the Yusupov family. The Yusupov family has served the Russian imperial dynasty for centuries, and its representatives have always enjoyed the favor of the Romanovs. However, Zinaida Nikolaevna Yusupova became an exception to this rule. Zinaida Nikolaevna, like many other aristocrats of that time, did not have a relationship with Empress Alexandra Fyodorovna. Alexandra Fyodorovna was a reserved, shy, and uncommunicative woman. Her closest friends were only three ladies-in-waiting, Sofia Orbeliani, Anna Virubova, and Julia Den, the wife of Captain Karl Den. Out of favor with the Empress, Zinaida Nikolaevna was not one of Alexandra Fyodorovna's friends. During the first decades of the reign of Nicholas II, their relationship was tolerant, but before the revolution, it finally deteriorated. Zinaida Nikolaevna strongly opposed Rasputin's presence in the imperial residence. One day, she dared to talk to the Empress about her dissatisfaction. This conversation made Alexandra Fyodorovna very angry, and she said to Zinaida Nikolaevna, "I hope I will never see you again." High-born friends. Despite the difficult relationship with the Empress, Zinaida Nikolaevna had other high-ranking friends. She maintained close ties with the Dowager Empress Maria Fyodorovna, the mother of Nicholas II, and Grand Duchess Elizabeth Fyodorovna, the wife of Grand Duke Sergei Alexandrovich, the emperor's uncle. Maria Fyodorovna and Elizabeth Fyodorovna were Alexandra Fyodorovna's sisters, and for many years they had a warm relationship. However, towards the end of the reign of Nicholas II, Alexandra Fyodorovna quarreled with her sister. The reason was Rasputin again, whom Elizabeth Fyodorovna tried to persuade to be removed from the palace. Problems with my son, Zinaida Nikolaevna, was universally respected in St. Petersburg. Despite her difficult relationship with Alexandra Fyodorovna, she was kind, funny, and pleasant to talk to. The Yusupov family was considered the richest in Russia after the Romanovs. The only problem for Zinaida Nikolaevna was the behavior of her son, Felix. Felix Yusupov, although he bore the family name, did not belong to it in the male line. Emperor Alexander III allowed his father, Felix Sumarokov-Elston, to take his wife's surname. From a young age, Felix led a scandalous life, shocking St. Petersburg society. His parents tried to raise him, but to no avail. Successful matchmaking, Zinaida Nikolaevna hoped for her son's correction after he wooed Princess Irina Romanova, the granddaughter of Alexander III. Zinaida Nikolaevna wrote in her diary, "A taciturn, shy, beautiful child. Perhaps this girl will be able to guide my Felix on the right path." Irina Romanova was considered an angel in the world. She was beautiful, humble, silent, and virtuous. An extraordinary marriage. The reasons why Irina agreed to marry Felix remain unknown. Perhaps her parents, Ksenia Alexandrovna and Alexander Mikhailovich, were busy with family problems and were not looking for a more suitable groom for her. The Dowager Empress Maria Feodorovna, a friend of Zinaida Nikolaevna, could also have influenced. In addition, Felix was the heir to a huge fortune, which probably played a role. This marriage was considered unusual, but not scandalous, since Irina was only a princess of imperial blood. The fabulous wealth of the Yusupovs, Zinaida Nikolaevna was the richest princess in Russia, despite her mother's morganatic marriage. Her financial situation allowed her to lead a luxurious life. One of the Yusupovs' special features was collecting expensive art and jewelry.